Hello squad, welcome back to a slice, a spice, and a dice movie reviews. Y'all, we are going to be talking about a series today that a lot of y'all know. Also, a lot of y'all are going to be like, what? You haven't seen that yet? So, yep, shocker, right? So, we're going to be talking about Final Destination. You saw the thumbnail, you already know it. I recently binged these, y'all. I had not seen these before. I don't know how or why I'm familiar with the franchise. I do know at one point I can remember the roller coaster one, right? Because when I started watching, I was like, I've watched some of this. But, and maybe it's because I feared some of these so much, so I was like, I can't handle it, whatever. So, I started watching part 3. Ripped through that and then just went through all the rest of them. Okay, so I was like, oh my god, like, number one, I was like, okay, so there's other people that like have these thoughts of like, this is a way to die, right? So what I wanted to do is to come to y'all with the top 5 things, and I was like, okay, has anybody else lost sleep over these particular ways of dying? Has it changed your lifestyle choices that you make when you're at an amusement park or driving on the road? So I want to come to the top 5. Now, there's not like 100% like a number 5 being the least, number 1 being the worst, but there kind of sort of is, so I'll explain along the way as to why I picked like what slot that it goes in or whatever, right? Now, before we get started, if you aren't familiar with my true crime channel, check it out. It's free. It's my other channel. It's called Report Live from a Sofa. Now, very quickly for those who maybe haven't seen this, so yeah, there's going to be spoiler alerts. We're going to be reviewing a few scenes, whatever. Final Destination is like a very, and I have a hard time saying this word, I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, formula-based, however you say that word. Like, there is a very specific formula to these movies, and they follow it to a T. I mean, each and every one of them, you're just like, this is just like, an extended version or whatever. Essentially, there's just filler to watch these different bizarre ways that these people get taken out. Now, the whole point of the movie is that basically you can't escape death. And typically what happens is in the beginning, someone in a group situation will have this like vision, right, of, this catastrophic scene of people, dying, all this crazy stuff, like wherever they're at, And so then they'll come to and realize they're like having this vision, like this is probably going to happen. And so then something will happen, then they will leave, several people will leave with them, they'll get out of it, they'll realize they really did have this vision, it was real, all these people died except for them. And then one by one, death will surely find them until the very end. So it's an interesting concept, and they just literally rinse and repeat for each one of these. So that being said, to me, it was almost like one of these things where I'm like, very ingenious that they did this to this level, because isn't that kind of like what works on like social media and stuff like that now, where people find something that works and they do it over and over again? Okay, so anyways, there's that. Now, again, like I said, there is not a hardcore set of this is, number 5 being the worst, number 1 being the whatever. We'll explain as we go, and on that note, let's go ahead and jump on into it. Okay, so for anyone who has ever visited a tanning salon, number 5 comes in as this. And let's just go ahead and roll film before we talk about it. So number 5, the tanning salon scene. Okay, now look, I don't go tanning anymore or do the tanning salon thing, but 100%, this used to be a fear of mine. I used to sit in the bed and be like, what if I got trapped in here? What if it kept cooking me? What if it turned up super hot? What if the glass broke and then the bulbs broke on me, and I could literally just, that feeling of that. Now, obviously, there's a little bit more to it here. I've just shown you the little clip of it. I actually knew somebody who had a tanning salon. They had a tanning bed at their house, right? And one of my friends would go over there and tan at his house. Okay, but the only thing with it is it was like broken, so you had to, it didn't shut off, right? And my friend fell asleep in it for like a really long time. Oh my god. Y'all, when I say he looked like a lobster, y'all, I am not joking, okay? And I was like, oh my god, all that needed to happen was you break through the glass and then burn your skin up and die this horrifying way. They clearly have already figured that out in this scene. So let's go on to number 4. Now, this next one, y'all, number 4, is something I've heard about my whole life. I can remember literally my aunt telling me about this, and it always made me like look at her pool drain differently. constantly. But then there's always something like, oh no, it wasn't a home pool. It was like a public pool because they're, you know, stronger or whatever. But nonetheless, I was like, is this urban legend? Did this really happen? Let's go ahead and watch it. Okay, so when I watched this, I was like, oh my God. I mean, first of all, can you imagine having your guts sucked out of your butt, number one, right? Now, it kind of alludes to just like sucked him completely in there. But like I said, I can remember being told this. Now, I also remember hearing about, and I think this is for sure true, people getting like their hair stuck in the drain and drowning that way and things of that nature. I mean, there's very dangerous situations. So I don't know if this has really happened on some level or not. If you have tea on that or whatever, and I could Google it, but I was like, I don't want to ruin the myth because I kind of like that fear in my own head. But I'm curious to hear it from y'all. Is this an urban legend? Has this happened? I don't know. Let's get into the top 3 freakiest ones for me. Okay, now here's the thing. These next 3 we're watching, y'all, these live rent-free in my head on a daily basis even before I watch the series, right? Okay, I do all 3 of these things that we're about to see, and literally whenever I do them, these are the exact scenarios that go through my head, okay? So go ahead and buckle your seatbelt in. Coming in at number 3 is the roller coaster ride from hell. Okay, this is like a 2-part with this one. First and foremost, I cannot tell you how scared I am when I get on these rides, the fear of the harness popping up, okay? I check it like this. I make sure if there's a seatbelt, it's on there too. I am very phobic about the harness situation. Like, that is a total phobia. I have literally spent time researching this online, looking at how do these things work, how often do they come undone. It is a huge fear of mine, especially, and it does not show in the clip that I'm showing or about to show, but when it goes upside down on the roller coaster and they fall out from up there, oh my God. I mean, I literally, y'all, I have feared this for so long. It kept me off roller coasters for the longest time. So let's continue and watch the second part of this because it gets worse. Okay, so then just this whole thing of going up over the hill, your harnesses come off and you just are flung from the thing, and then at the end of the day, the whole damn car comes off the track. Okay, we know this happens. We see it. I mean, yes, I have looked up all these accidents online, and then we'll still go and ride the rides at the amusement park. Now, this is serving State Fair vibes. If you've ever ridden like a ride at the State Fair, you know these are like super dangerous. And this is how I am with roller coasters. I am all for a roller coaster doing crazy things and going upside down, all this crazy stuff. Don't mess with me when it comes to the harness, right? And some of the ones that I've ridden recently, they're like more recent roller coasters, their harnesses are funky. It's like it's not like a harness. It more or less just kind of puts you in the seat with like a seat belt. And I'm like, no, I'm fine with feeling like I am completely strapped in and cannot move. I would rather feel that way. So anyways, when I saw this, I was like, oh, hell no. Now y'all, coming at number 2, again, every single day, because this is something I do every day, right? I'm always in my car, I'm on the toll road, I'm on the interstate, whatever. You already know if you've seen the series what's coming up, right? Okay, so in fact, let's just go ahead and play the scene. Here you go. Y'all, literally, all of us have heard stories or seen these accidents, been a part of these accidents, of these crazy freak accidents that happen on the interstate. Anytime I'm riding behind, especially a lumber thing, I'm like, how does that stay there? How does it stay there? Especially worse when it's like, say, construction and it's like the poles and stuff, because you've heard of these things where these things come loose and do this very thing, right? Obviously this is very dramatic, whatever, but if you've gone through this, then you already know. So this one, when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, no, I can't. I don't know about y'all, but this is how I am. Like with tractor trailers, and I feel a couple of ways. Okay, first of all, I feel like people who are usually driving tractor trailers are very highly trained at driving, and they're like pros at driving, right? So I usually will try and get out of their way, right? If they're coming up, I don't want them to have to do crazy stuff, whatever. I am very fearful of how a lot of people will drive around tractor trailers, because it's like they forget, it's like, honey, they can't just like stop, okay? So when you cut in front of them and are going super slow and da-da-da-da, this isn't good for anybody, okay? This isn't good for anybody, right? I do not like driving right next to a tractor trailer. Oh my God, it panics me. I don't like driving really behind one, obviously, right? I just try and get around them and keep going and just give them their space, right? But I also don't like hanging out next to any vehicle like that. It freaks me out, plain and simple. Y'all, let's go ahead to clip number damn one. Y'all, coming in at number one is, again, it lives rent free in my damn head. And when I saw this, I was like, this is why. This is why. Go ahead and roll the damn tape. Roll the damn tape. God, why do I just can't? Y'all, a couple of things with this. Okay, first of all, this is how I feel about dying in a plane wreck. Okay, you know when for those who fly, when you take off and you're going, right, and you can still feel like you are aware of gravity, right? You're like, I am leaving Earth, okay? That's the part that I fear the most, okay? So like in this clip where it looks like they're high up but not like above the clouds, I'm like, oh my God. And the thing getting sucked out, I'm like, oh my God. So here's how I go about it. I'm like, if we're gonna die in the plane crash, number one, getting sucked out of the plane is like my worst nightmare. And being attached to the chair, because it's like, I mean, Jesus, right? I would rather it happen when you like get way up. Like if the plane's gonna crash or blow up, do it way up there, like above the clouds, right? And I don't know the science behind this, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but my thought process is, if you were to get sucked out of the plane way up there above the clouds or something happens, like I don't think there's oxygen up there. I could be wrong, I don't know, or like there's so little of it. So I think you would like instantly pass out or something, right? If you're still high enough to where you can see people as dots and little dots as cars, I'm like, I think you're going to be completely aware. Like maybe you would pass out from adrenaline, but I think you could easily survive that fall. Not survive the fall, but survive all the way down. You know what I'm saying? Being aware of, I'm falling out of an airplane, right? So I'm just like, oh my God, please just let something like that happen, like way up there, or just let the plane blow up, right? Something. But like this whole thing of just getting sucked out, I'm like, oh my God, what happens to the body? You know what I mean? Like, what can you imagine walking down the street and just a random row of airplane passengers falling in front of you? I mean, oh my God, I would just. So, slight story time about it. One time, this like many moons ago, right? Like 20 years ago, we were flying to Vegas, like me and a couple of friends. And one of my friends that was going was like super afraid of flying or whatever. And you know when you go to take off and you have that, like you take off and there's usually that little bump that you feel, right? And then you're like, and you kind of, your stomach drops. Y'all, okay. And I mean, it's not funny because he was scared of it or whatever, so I did try and hide my laughing or whatever. Okay, so when that little bump happened, he wasn't sitting with us, which made it more funnier, but he was kind of sitting like, I can't describe it. Like, if I'm here, he was like right here dangling, right? When that bump happened, he was like, and I mean, hands all are grabbing strangers. Yeah. When I tell you that for the entire flight, the rest of this trip from North Carolina to wherever we're going, to Vegas, wherever, I had a magazine, right? And I literally just kept it like this and was like dying laughing behind it, like just crying because it was so damn funny. Mind you, I didn't want him to see that I found this like so insanely funny, but it was. I didn't want to laugh at his fear of it because I get it. I mean, I'm scared of planes too, but I'm just like, look, I'm going to get on it. I'm going to just kind of, you know, suck it up and get on it. And if we're going to crash, just please let it happen way up there or something. I don't know. Anyways, if you have seen this series, please tell me what is your like most favorite scene in it. What is your scene that you feared the most dying that way or whatever? If you have not seen this series, you have to watch this, okay? It is campy, cheesy. it's just so interesting how they did it. It just has you curious with each scene. What, like, how is this gonna all equate to this random bizarre accident happening, right? So anyways, that's it. I appreciate y'all watching this. Let me know what your favorite scene is, what your most scared way of dying is, or whatever. This is such a lovely conversation we're gonna have in the comment sections, but I'm here for it. I appreciate y'all watching, and until my next movie binge, I'll see you here.